started off, we said the infrastructure, and we brought up, that women are being brought up in, the environment they're being brought up in. I said last week, white women are coming from intact patriarchal communities. White women can be submissive. White women can be feminine because they are afforded the luxury to be feminine because their men are collectively in a better position than they are. Reese, I believe his name was Reese. I'm on the wrong show. No, I think whatever the guy was saying last week, the other guy that was calling in, where he said women do not have to submit when they're making more money. They don't have to. So in terms of, the black men and black women getting together and whatnot, remember what I said earlier about, women and they're always looking to survive. You know what I mean? And the men are supposed to be looking to thrive, right? As Divine Brown put it. Well, when they're with a man and the man's not providing that, they can just go off and run in the other direction, because you got to look at it like this. Women have never throughout history submitted to men without getting something out of it. There is no intrinsic aspect of submission. You got to think, if you were a woman, what would it take for you to submit to a man? Okay, a man's got to come with something that you can't provide for yourself, would bring about, which would.
You want me to answer that right quick, or you want me to let you roll off?
I just want to finish. I want to finish my point. I'm saying you gotta bring something more to the table, because a woman is acquiescing, her own agency to follow you on your ship. It's almost like when I had the exchange with your co-host, and she was talking, and she threw the conditional on, well, I'd only, submit or, to, a patriarchal structure if the ship was going in the direction that I wanted to go, which to me is obvious, because you wouldn't even get on the ship if it wasn't going in the direction that you want to go. I mean, that should have been a no-brainer. But I'm saying, in order for women to submit to men, okay, they gotta have either a coalition of men that they're teamed up with, where they're building and creating. They can offer women protection. They can offer women, provisions, roof, shelter, all that stuff, the whole infrastructure. Like even with white women, what do they get? They get Hollywood. They get the red carpet. They get to be the beauty standard. Okay, there's a whole bunch of things that make white women walk around here like la-di-da-di-da, like they're just
a lot of perks.
It's a lot of perks.
Listen, bro, last week,
we as black, wait, last point. We as black men, we are not collectively providing that, and we can't expect black women to behave like other races of women that are coming from these infrastructures that we don't have, with all the perks that we don't provide. It's not going to happen.
Okay. Now, and I don't really all the way disagree with you, but I want to say this to you. Okay. I was talking to a white female listener, from last week, and even she was using other examples, real life examples, of how, and it blew my mind, because I feel like it actually helped. Again, this is what I'm trying to throw out there at y'all. Help me connect some of these dots to what you're saying. Mm-hmm. It's not discrediting any of it. It just connects some of the dots. And what I call it snitching. And I say, I'll snitch to bras all the time about dudes and shit, because I don't feel guilty about it, because I ain't no snitch, but I don't feel guilty about it because bras don't listen. You know what I'm saying? So I'll tell you what to do to get things right with your man, not to take advantage of him, but to be in a good place and how men think and how to operate to get along with that, but they don't listen. But when bras snitch to me, please believe I listen. So she's snitching. And this is what she said. And I dig this, and it makes sense. And it makes sense. Only other cultures get this, too. Part of it is just, and maybe you can connect something that about what you're saying that I'm missing that covers this. But it's also just the overall approach to the logical situation of being the weaker physical vessel versus the stronger physical vessel, and the idea of fighting him on his terms and his turf, which would make you a follower, versus fighting. Like, they don't look at it like they're submitting necessarily in a derogatory sense of the word. They don't look at it what this is. And what she told me is you never want to be on equal playing with a man, because then you give up your leverage. And I'm saying she's right, because by having a pattern, and what I look at is like the white approach and actually the non-black approach of not just being so combative with your man is a passive-aggressive approach. It's not that these females don't disagree or have any opinions of their own or want to manipulate their man or get what they want, like as you guys started going on about the different benefits that white women have. It's just that they have a much more wise approach to doing it. They don't look at it like they're submitting and letting it be. They look at it like they're gassing you. And they look at it, white women look at it like they make their white men who and what they want them to be by not banging heads with them. So what we do when we say, what is submit? It's called submitting. But they don't look at it like they're submitting. They look at it like they're taking you by the end. And I look at it like it's in more control. They're taking control of you, but they're doing it the right way. Whereas black women, they try to fight you. They don't know the right way to do it. So, I mean, part of that would make sense. And I said this, if you were going to war and you had 15 tanks and we had 15 cars, we wouldn't bang at you. I mean, we're approaching that. I wouldn't say that if it was us and the three of us ever on the line. I wouldn't say let's take our cars and let's bang at these tanks. We would have to strategize. And we wouldn't look at it like we were being weak. We would approach it. We would try to flank them or do something else. And that's what the other cultures naturally do when it comes to dealing with those scenarios of being the weaker physical vessel and fighting against a stronger physical vessel. They don't choose to try to fight them physically. And whether it be literally, I don't mean that so literally. I mean, they don't choose to fight them combatively because it just makes sense to them that the better way to beat them is to be quiet and take advantage of them mentally and gas them up and they get control. And they say that they make their men go out and bring back what they want. So they said they make the white man as big as he is. Go ahead, bro.
Let me ask you, okay, first of all, I'm going to shoot you what you said. Now, I know we're trying to connect the dots for you, so let me not say I'm going to shoot what you said down. I'll just say it like this. The key to what you said is when you stated when they're dealing with their men on their own turf. That was the key, okay? The other key that you said was them being more physically strong. And then you cleared it just a few seconds ago when you said, I don't mean literally. Now, let's talk about the strength of black men, realistically where we are. First of all, I said at the beginning, we don't control anything. We don't control any resources. We don't control any commerce. We're not known for running into, we don't control paper mills, ink. You know, I mean, give me something that we control where we can say this is our turf and you now have to negotiate with us. That is the whole key to creating a socioeconomic structure. That is what he was talking about last week when he was talking with your co-host, and she picked up on it. I'm reason women pick up on this very quickly, especially sisters. They really pick up on it. Brothers will be out in left field when I simply say this. Women, they know what I'm saying when I say this. Well, if we were to control the socioeconomic landscape, as he said last week, there are certain things we would not even negotiate with you. And she right away, because women, sisters know exactly what that means because they understand the power of financial muscle, okay? The problem is everything that you suggested would be fine if we had that type of financial muscle where they had to deal with us with some type of finesse in order to get what they want. But they don't have to deal with us like that. They don't have to negotiate with us.
But they want to. They want to. And there's other things that they want from us besides just the financial infrastructure, too. And that's why you hear the women say, well, I got money. They want to. Right?
Wait. When you say they want to what?
They don't really want to be the ones having to do that shit. They'd rather sit on their ass. If you sitting there telling me that you think a sister want to go out there and outwork you, for real, I don't buy it. They got more education. They don't want to do it. They'd rather be in that situation like you're saying. But they don't know how to get it.
Sisters are the worst gold diggers in the world, and I'm going to explain to you why. Because most sisters cannot keep their mouth shut long enough to get gold. But listen, there's a reason for that. Because collectively, we are not known for having gold. So they look at you like, why should I have to dance to your music? Who are you?
But listen, even the smaller things that they want, they can't get. They can't get treated. And this is what the white woman was saying. She's like, that's what I mean. Like, it applies to them just across the board. Like, to get flowers, to get treatment, to get soft treatment. Like, black women always talk, well, you always get mad, you always screaming and hollering at me, you always fussing and hollering. A white woman knows how to get a nigga to not do all that. How to get a man period to do all that. She don't try to go at you.
But what I'm saying is the reason that they know how to do that is because their men are in such a position where they don't have any choice. So that is what they learn from, we'll say, knee-high to a grasshopper. Our women, on the other hand, have the same, practically, the same opportunities that we do to make money. So let me follow. Let me make you understand this, okay? In other words, sure, I would love to have you along with me on this romantic dinner. But don't get me wrong, brother, I can take myself without your help. So her whole demeanor is going to be different. Whereas, follow me now, white women are not in a position to provide the type of lifestyle for themselves that black women are. Okay? We are not far enough ahead of them where they have to negotiate with us to get things they want, other than what? Some sex? Some dick? And please don't tell me, brother, after listening to that show last week, I hope that you are not one of these cats, and I don't believe you are, and think, I don't give a fuck how much money a chick is making, man. Eventually she's going to need some dick. Anyone who is dumb enough to wager shit on that, they don't even need to be in this conversation.
No, I don't think they want dick at all, but I know they want a bunch of other emotional shit. You know what I'm saying? And they do want that.
But even that is such a weak position for us to negotiate from. I have what you need emotionally, baby, so you better start listening to me. No, I control. What I
Well, I wasn't saying that I would ever say. I wasn't saying that that's something that we were even saying. What I was saying was it was something. Okay. This is my thing. Like, you want what you want. And here's the thing. This is my point. Men in general. Now, and I got to say this now, I'm going to have to put sisters on the island maybe a little bit here, but because I ain't going to say all women, because I used to say women because I'm just used to dealing with sisters. But getting so many different perspectives from the show, I have different understandings of things now. So it might just be black broads. They have no idea how to get what they want. And that's what I'm getting to.
What I'm saying, man, is
you're missing the point that they do not have to negotiate with us for anything.
Right. But not only that, that is such a weak position compared to the rest of the world. And then you wonder why we have the problems we do. Think about it. If it's not sex, you're saying it's emotion. That's still intrinsic shit that we're born.
Intangible, nebulous, right. Ambiguous. You know, you can't feel
survival.
You can't feel that. That's not even something that's measurable. But when I talk about buying a $800,000 home, she can feel that. She can touch that. When I start talking about lining that joint up with furniture, she can feel that. She can touch that. When I start talking about the raise that I'm going to give her or not give her because I'm the one that's hiring her, she can feel that. But the stuff that brothers talking about, they can't feel that.
Right, let's go further than that. She doesn't see you at all levels of society. All the doctors are not black in her community. The teachers are not black. We don't set up the schools. We are not in control. So
let me add. When the power goes out, we don't show up. When the snow is on the street, we ain't plowing the snow. You know what I'm saying? We not fixing the potholes in the street. They don't see us in that capacity. So as a result, their behavior is what we're dealing with right now. That's why it's such a headache.
Right.
That's why you have an issue with your ex-wife.
Right. In other words, they don't see, and I had to actually tell a sister that one day. She was like, well, just because some dude is a nerd, that doesn't mean I have to respect him. I'm like, hold on a minute. Every community needs doctors. Every community needs electricians. Every community needs electrical engineers. Every community needs plumbers. Every community needs carpenters. Yeah, every community needs garbage men. You have to at least show them some general respect, because if you don't, and then it hit me, the reason you don't respect them that way is because you don't see them in that capacity. So you don't see where they are beneficial. They don't provide any life-sustaining things where if our men walked away from us, what would we do? Whereas white women, on the other hand, if their men ever said, fuck y'all, they would feel that shit right away. Like, oh, my God, we have to go live in the projects. You get what I'm saying?
I get it. I get what you're saying. And again, right. You listen to Crank House Radio on blogtalkradio.com. Guest call in 347-637-3528. It's 347-637-3528. Again, our topic for tonight originally was why women judge men by the sex drives and the female friend zone and the permanency of it, and the logic to both of those questions. But, again, all of our topics on the show are normally correlated, and they always tied into each other. Most of them deal with relationships. And we're carrying on a conversation so far from last week, topic about matriarch versus patriarch communities and the effects it has on the society, and specifically how the black community is a matriarch society versus a patriarch versus where the rest of the world is, and the reason why we don't really have any cohesion in anything in our households from not just a global perspective, but even down to the micro perspective. Now, I get what y'all are saying. What y'all are saying is everything is predicated, no matter what it is, it all stems from the fact that we don't have the global, financial infrastructure as the rest of the people in the world.
Even on a small level, right? I'm saying even at the local community level, we ain't kicking ass even there, man. I mean, look at the businesses that operate in your local community. You know what I'm saying? We don't bring nothing into our community that is life-sustaining, where they would recognize, we need these brothers around here. No. Black women are at the point where they think the only thing they need.
So the $1 million point would be, so what would we do? So what do we do? What do black men do? Is it hopeless for black people? You know what I mean? Because we don't have those things that we never had.
Let me respond. I'm going to answer your question. But after I answer your question, I want her to ask whatever question she wanted to ask. But I'm saying,
let me ask that.
You asked me what the solution was, and I've continuously said that the solution would be for us to gain some type of power. What I don't understand is what you just said a couple minutes ago, and I don't want you to feel like I'm ganging up on you. I want us to come to some type of understanding. But I'm saying everything that you presented about, other races of women, they just intrinsically, just innately act like this, makes it seem like you're putting the change on behavior on the women to adjust to the fact that you're powerless and they should just accept you for your powerless position and just go off in the corner somewhere, you and her, and be happy. And I'm trying to say that that's not going to happen. You got to be in the position first.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm not saying that they should do anything. I was just pointing out what was. In my opinion, I felt like this is what is, and wherever the solution. Now I'm asking you what you feel like the solution to that would be. Or no, whoa. I'm not asking. Right. You said what the solution was. My point, actually, the question was what the avenue of getting there was, and especially how do you start again in households because I think about all the black communities and brothers who were trying to do the best they can. You know what I mean? And whoever one of the writers in the blog that you said that, again, that you would think that sisters would have the, sense and need to have the sense to get with brothers who are trying to achieve these things and do have some means and aren't, deadbeats. They should. So therefore, it would seem like that would be the avenue. And I guess I was getting at you for 2 weeks now to see if that was what you felt as well. As to the answer to the question, the answer is just that we need power. How would we go about achieving the power?
Well, hold up. I'm going to respond, and then I'm going to let her talk. Okay, I'm just saying what would have to happen is brothers would have to work together to try to control something. Start with one block. Obviously, it's not going to happen overnight. And the problem with the idea that with the women linking up with why they aren't linking up with the brothers that are in the position, because there's not enough of them, together moving as one unit all at once. When they come across the on point dude, all they get is him. They don't get a team. They don't get a coalition. They don't get any type of black male network or black male hierarchy, because each individual brother is so distant and so separated. They're like little dudes on archipelagos, on little pockets of islands. They're not moving in unison. So if she doesn't want to be quote unquote controlled, or she doesn't want to have a situation calling the shots, she can just leave Carlton and get with Jamal, because Jamal is widely available and all around her. So for every Carlton she comes across, there's like 5 Jamals. if there was a coalition of nothing but Carlton, then she would leave Carlton and be like, well, I don't want that nigga to tell me what to do, and then she would mess with the next dude, and the next dude would be in the same type of position, and so she would become accustomed to and used to the idea of brothers being in that position. She had nowhere to go. It would become a cultural norm, a cultural standard. But since it's not a cultural norm and it's not a cultural standard, they have this choice between Ray Ray and Pookie and Mr. I want to control you on point but don't have a network. And as Tatition stated, women's choices only matter when men are powerless. Now the woman can say what she wanted to ask.
What's your question, Bree?
Okay, my question was, because y'all have been debating this back and forth for 2 weeks, again, your answer to LA's question was that men need to come together and start working together as a collective. That's the solution. However, you always say that it's just not going to happen because of the situation that we're in. Men have been coming together historically to do some things started by women.
Here we go again.
Started by women. No, and I know, again, see, every time I start to say something, you want to cut me off, but I just want to say this. You just said it's going to take one man to go ahead and do it. It's never going to be a collective if you don't. Every time I start to say something, you want to cut me off, but I just want to say this. You just said it's going to take one man to go ahead and do it. It's never going to be a collective if you don't appreciate and acknowledge the few. I'm not saying that because of the few that it's not going to, you're not going to have this or whatever. And my whole opinion of it is completely different from y'all. But just in the perimeters of your argument as to why, if you're going to agree with the patriarch society, okay, let's say not to be argumentative. Not to be argumentative, let's just say that I agree with this patriarch society. So now, I have an example of one man here who's standing up. It's one man. Okay, and maybe, in another state, it's another man. It's, so what is the solution then? If you're not going to say, hey, it's one man doing it, the next man can try to do it. What are you going to do is besides blame women and put brothers down for whatever, the ones that are doing it, the ones, like, okay, you doing it, but it's kind of...
Let me go ahead and jump in. This is Tony.
Is that Tony from the A? I'm sorry, Tony, because I was supposed to bring you in a long time ago. I just couldn't get a word in edgewise. Go ahead.
Just to kind of, speak to your statement / question. Where do we start? There are some arenas where black men have come together, and those arenas I think are with the church, with athletics, and within entertainment. We have found a way to become moguls in those areas. However, as a people, on a macro level, outside of those three industries, which, we don't completely control, but on a macro level, what TV is saying is we don't work together on anything. You could put 10 black men, educated, hardworking, put in the sweat equity in a room. End of a 5-hour session, you would not be able to come up with one vision and work towards one goal.
Okay, well, then let me ask you something. Can I ask you something then, just based on that statement that you said right there? Two things. How can you blame then that the mainframe or the structure of our community is not where it should be, or the fact that women aren't subjective? Because that statement you made has nothing to do with whether a woman is subjective or not. You all cannot work together, period. And then two, if that is the case, you said that if you put 10 men together, that they would come up with a vision.
I didn't say anything about women. What I'm saying is,
I know you're not, but I'm speaking to Peter's point, where he was saying that, women will not, black women today are not subscribing to a patriarchal society because they have opportunity.
I'm trying to expound on how Petey arose at that statement.
I understand how he got there. I just want to know what I'm trying to further the conversation. I guess that's what I really want to know. Like, we have debated back and forth the various reasons, and I'm already backing down and saying, okay, let's say I subscribe to the patriarchal society.
Let me finish my point.
Can we just not keep going over the same thing? He has laid the foundation as to why. I can recite it. I understand.
Okay. And this is clearly, a pure example of how, we can't move forward without, we can't even.
Can I respond to what she just said?
You and I can't even negotiate. Yeah, you and I can't even negotiate. What I'm, allowing me to have the phone for just a moment. You see what I'm saying? So, but go ahead, Pete. Jump in there.
Her point. My point is not about blaming women and saying, "Oh, we can't do this and we can't do that." 'Cause I already know what brothers ain't gonna do. Okay, the foundation starts with the brothers. However, despite black men being screwed up, what we're not doing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because it's been like 40, 50 some odd years of brothers not being in the position and you all getting your opportunities from white men, black women have become arrogant to the point that they really believe they're going out here and kicking ass. They're going to overthrow white supremacy with the jobs that white men give them. And what a lot of you all are doing is you all, quiet as it's kept, and I emphasize that, quiet as it's kept, you all are avoiding men who are more established than you because you know that he's going to call the shots if you get on his ship that he built, which goes back to Cap Solo's point about what he said about the fact that you all recognize the money because the money is the very thing that allows you not to be underneath a man's authority, and you all know that. You all know that. When I was talking to you last week, okay, I heard it in your tone when I asked you. I said, if black men fix the community and we do everything that we're supposed to do right, would you subscribe to a patriarchal community? And you threw a big fat conditional on there. Well, if he was going in the direction I wanted to go. See, the fact that you threw a conditional on there, that already let me know what type of stuff that you're on. You can
the opportunity exists for me to do some things. Now, I hear what you're saying. Like, okay, boom, you're saying that my attitude itself doesn't help to build. Like, the black women in society, this is what you said, are avoiding these one or two men that are standing up and doing that. But how is that still affecting the infrastructure? That's still not affecting you all laying the foundation. I actually agree with your point where if you all had enough stuff that you were in control, that we would have no other choice because at one point it was that way. And then there was equal rights for women and women got to say, hey, we're humans too and we can think too. So those things change the way of society, just like you said. So now that you're here, what do you do to go back to the traditional way? What do you do as a man without the support, just the foundational stuff that you're saying that men have to do, work together? And like LA said, what are the steps that you're going to take to start making that happen on a collective level? That's all I want to know. It doesn't have anything to do with the woman.
Wait, I wanted to.
That has everything.
If I'm still on, I wanted to respond to something that she just said, and then I'll give you the steps as best as I can. In fact, I'll give you the steps right now. What it would really take is on-point black men. That means that black men who are making a good salary. I'm just going to leave that kind of loose, so I hope we all understand each other. They would have to move back to the inner cities, and they would have to move into the communities and begin mentoring boys and starting small businesses. That's what it would really take in order for this to happen. Seriously speaking, that is really what has to be done. And mentoring the boys is no joke. I mean really mentoring the boys and allowing them to see you need to be in your communities where they actually see you operating. Now, that's not to shit on guys that don't make a good salary, but that's a big part of it. You have to be in a position where
here's the thing, though. At the same time, you guys are saying that it doesn't matter because that's what I went through with my marriage because I damn sure did, whereas I provided every damn thing. And I had plenty way more everything. So you said it already. The
problem you had is the same problem I had, man. You are operating as an individual. That's why I said we would all have to return to the community collectively. Okay, where you're not alone in what you're doing, where you don't appear to be by yourself doing that. See, that's
let my wife even tell it. She's seen a lot of brothers. So here's the thing. So unless we all, you know what I'm saying?
How many did you know? Wait, how many did you know? Because I love when women try that crap. Let me put it to you like this. Almost every problem that women have complained about, any brother that has tried working with other brothers knows that they're telling the truth. What I mean by that is this. Let's go to some of the typical things that they complain about, like he won't get himself together. He won't get on his feet. He's not making enough money. Blah, 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 blah. We shoot that down with you're a gold digger, you're this, you're that. But sit down and try to go into business with a brother and say, okay, I've got $5,000. I want to put it on the table. You know what's funny? The same things that she was complaining about, now I got to sit down and file the same complaint because this dude came with some intrinsic bullshit because he thought he was that guy and he didn't bring his $5,000 to the table. What I'm saying is the problem is you're isolated. I was isolated, okay? I'm saying that's why your wife reacted the way she did. It's not enough of us doing it like that. And then on top of that, almost 99% of us were always working for somebody else that ain't us. So that just exacerbates the problem. But I'm saying,
I had both. And here's the thing, though. So that's the whole point. So that's what I'm getting to. I understand what you're saying. I mean, I was even saying that being a given. So with that being a given, it seems impossible then. Because we couldn't all at one time.
You still got no. What I'm saying is, it's enough of us out here. See, this is what happens, man. Every time a dude gets on, he moves out, and women are kind of the same way too. As soon as people get money, they move out, and so you got all of that economic power that's out there feeding other communities, not your own. As a result, kids do not see on-point people operating in their communities, so why would they want to grow up to be like you? You ain't around them. As far as they're concerned, you don't even care about them. Okay? I'm saying this is just the reality. We have left. We don't care. Like, I'm getting the hell out of here, man. I'm gone. And we go join other patriarchies. This is and it's insane because when we get there, we're not able to operate as men. We're just able to operate as participants of a community that's being controlled by others. So you damn sure ain't going to go out to a white community or any other community and set up shop out there and think you're going to thrive. It ain't going to happen. But the only frontier left for us is the inner city. And we don't want to go in there and do that because it's too much damn work. I'm just being real. But I'm saying that's what would have to be done. Now, I want to